There is something happening right now. Not outside, not in the distance, not in some other moment that has not yet arrived. Right here, in this room, in this breath you just took. Something quiet is already present. You may not feel it yet. That is all right. You do not have to feel it for it to be true. You do not have to be in the right emotional state for what is real to be real. You do not have to have prayed perfectly today, or carried your faith without stumbling, or arrived at this moment without the weight of everything you are still holding. You can arrive exactly as you are, tired, uncertain, perhaps a little far from yourself tonight. And what is waiting for you here is not a demand. It is not a correction. It is not a list of what you should have done differently. What is waiting is a voice, quiet, low, already leaning toward you. God is not silent tonight. He is not far. He is not withholding. He is not waiting for you to deserve the sound of his nearness. He is already here, already close, already speaking in the language of this stillness, this breath, this moment of you simply laying yourself down. You did not wander too far. You did not go too quiet. You did not lose anything that cannot be found in a room as still as this one. Just let the noise settle. Let the day fall off of you, slowly, gently, the way something heavy is set down on a floor at the end of a long walk. You do not have to throw it down. You do not have to be dramatic about it. You just let it go. And you let yourself be here. Maybe you came here with a full mind tonight. Maybe the thoughts were already cycling before you even reached for this. The replaying of conversations, the rehearsing of tomorrow, the quiet accumulation of things you are not sure how to resolve, the low hum of anxiety that does not have a name, the sense that you have been carrying something and you are not entirely sure how to put it down. This is not a failure of faith. This is not spiritual weakness. This is what it feels like to be a human being who has walked through a full and complicated day, and into that, into all of it. God speaks, not loudly, not with the requirement that you clear yourself out first, not after you have organized your thoughts or arranged your emotions into something presentable. He speaks now, in this, through the weight of your tiredness, through the scattered feeling you arrived with, through the parts of tonight that feel unresolved and the parts of you that feel unfinished. This is where the voice comes, not into the polished version of you, into the real one, the one lying here in the dark, breathing slowly, carrying more than you let on to most people, the one who is tired in ways that sleep does not always fix, the one who quietly wonders in the small hours whether God is close enough to hear. He is. He is not just close enough to hear. He is already speaking. You have permission to receive that now. Not as a concept to be agreed with, but as a living reality in this room, in this breath, in this exact moment. He is here, and he is not finished speaking over you. Let that settle in, slowly, without rushing it. You are not reaching for something far away. You are simply becoming still enough to notice what is already present. There was a man in an old story who had run as far as he could run. He had given everything. He had believed with everything. He had stood in the open and spoken what he was given to speak, and it had cost him. And when the cost became heavier than his strength could carry, he sat down under a tree in the wilderness, and he asked to die. This is not a comfortable thing to say, but it is in the record. It happened. A man of great faith, a man who had seen fire come down from the sky, a man who had prayed and watched rain return to a dry land. That man sat in the wilderness and said, "I am done. I have nothing left." And God did not rebuke him. He did not lecture him. He did not remind him of his failures. He did not stand over him with a list of all the ways Elijah had misread the situation. He sent an angel with bread and water, and a voice that said something so simple it is almost hard to believe it was enough. "Arise and eat. The journey is too great for you, not. You are weak and you should not be, not. Get yourself together, not. Look at what you are doing to my purposes. Just eat. Rest. The road is long and you need strength for it. I know what this costs you. I see you here, and I am providing." This is what the voice of God sounds like at the end of your strength. It sounds like permission to be human. It sounds like provision that arrives before you have asked for it correctly. It sounds like presence that does not require you to explain yourself before it draws near. And then, after the bread, after the rest, after the journey that followed, Elijah came to a cave in a mountain, and God came to him there too, not in the wind that tore the rocks apart, not in the earthquake that shook the ground, not in the fire. After the fire, a still small voice. Some translations say a gentle whisper, a sound of sheer silence, a low and tender murmur that came after everything loud had passed. This is where God spoke, and the question he asked was not an accusation. It was an invitation. "What are you doing here?" Not, "Why are you hiding?" Not, "Why are you afraid?" Just, "What are you doing here? Tell me where you are. I am listening. I came to find you in this exact place." Tonight, that same question is being asked of you, not as a judgment, not as a demand that you explain your spiritual condition, but as a gentle, searching question from a God who came to the mountain where you are hiding. What are you doing here? What brought you to this moment? What are you carrying that has made the road too great? What have you been running from or running toward, and what has the cost of it been? He already knows the answer. He is asking because he wants you to know that he knows, that he came to where you are, that the voice speaking to you tonight is not coming from a distance. It is coming from inside the stillness. Let yourself hear it now. Not a big sound, not a dramatic announcement, not something that requires you to sit up and pay close attention and gather your mental focus. Just a quiet word moving through the dark. You are known here, fully known, not partially known, not conditionally known, not known up to the point where you become too complicated or too inconsistent or too human. Known entirely. Tonight, every part of you that you have kept quiet today, every thought that cycled too many times without resolution, every fear you carried without naming it to anyone, every moment where you felt like you were managing something too heavy, too alone, with not quite enough faith to hold it properly. He knows that too. He sees the version of you that showed up today, not just the version you are comfortable sharing, not just the one that made it through the day and said the right things and kept the grief reasonably organized. The full version, the unedited one, the one lying here right now in the honest dark. And he is not pulling away. He is speaking over that version, that exact one, tonight. What he is saying is not complicated. It does not require a theology degree to receive. It does not require you to have your spiritual questions answered before you are allowed to let it land. What he is saying is something closer to, I see you. I have not left. I have not grown quiet because I am displeased. I have not withdrawn to wait for a better version of you to arrive. I am speaking to you now, this version, tonight. Let that word in, slowly, without forcing it, without making yourself feel something you do not yet feel. Just open the door a little more. Let the whisper come a little closer. You do not have to manufacture the experience. You do not have to perform the receiving of it. You can simply be still and let what is already present do what it came to do. There is something about the night that makes the voice easier to hear. The day is full of noise, full of tasks and demands, and the constant management of what other people need from you, full of the voice inside your own head that keeps narrating, evaluating, worrying, planning, comparing, and falling behind on all of it. But the night strips a lot of that away. The tasks cannot be done right now. The plans cannot be executed. The worrying cannot actually change anything in these hours. And sometimes, in the stripping away of all of that, there is a moment where the room goes quiet enough to hear something you could not hear all day. A still low sound, a word that was always there, a presence that was speaking through the whole long day, even when you could not tune in. You are tuning in now, not because you tried hard enough, not because you earned a quiet mind, simply because the day is done and the noise is receding, and what remains when the noise goes is the thing that was always there underneath it. His voice was underneath all of it, today, and it is still here now. It was in the breath you took between tasks. It was in the small and unremarkable moment when you looked out a window and felt something loosen in you, just briefly, just for a second. It was in the quiet that came unexpectedly in the middle of something hard and made the hardness slightly more bearable. That was not random. That was not coincidence. That was the whisper, already present, already reaching. And tonight it reaches a little further, because you are here, because you stopped, because you laid yourself down and let the room go still, and let this voice come in. This is not nothing. This is not a small thing. This is what it looks like when a human being opens the door at the end of a long day and lets God in. He walks in quietly. He does not make a production of it. He simply comes and sits with you in the dark and speaks in the register of things that do not need to be allowed to be true. You may be carrying something specific tonight, something that has been sitting heavier than you have let yourself acknowledge, a worry you have been managing rather than releasing, a grief that comes back around even when you thought you had processed it, a relationship that weighs on you in ways that are hard to explain, a fear about the future that you cannot resolve because the future is not yet available for inspection. Whatever it is, it does not have to stay in your hands tonight. This is not a demand that you let it go immediately or completely. It is an invitation, a gentle one, a soft opening in the direction of releasing what you cannot actually carry without cost. God is not asking you to be finished with it. He is not asking you to have resolved it before morning. He is not standing at the edge of the night waiting to see how thoroughly you can surrender. He is simply saying, you can lay this here, right here, in this space, in this stillness. You can loosen your grip just slightly, just enough to let some of the weight transfer, and I will hold what you release, not temporarily, not conditionally, not until something better comes along. I will hold it. You have been carrying things that were not meant for you to carry alone, not because you are faithless, not because you are proud, simply because you are someone who has been trying to hold it together, trying to manage well, trying to love people and meet obligations and walk with integrity through circumstances that were not easy. And it has been heavy. And tonight the voice that reaches you in the dark is saying, you can put some of that down, just here, just now. You can let it be his. Let your body feel that permission. Let your shoulders soften. Let the place in your chest where you hold the tight things loosen just a little. Let your breathing slow into the rhythm of someone who is being held rather than someone who is holding on. You do not have to manage this night. You do not have to stay alert to it. You do not have to make sure things are properly resolved before you allow yourself to rest. God is not sleeping. He does not slip away when you close your eyes. He does not reduce his presence because you are no longer awake and active and attending to things. He is not less near in the hours when you cannot monitor the nearness. He watches. He keeps. He holds what you entrust to him across the whole of the dark. This is not a poetic idea. This is the texture of what it means to be kept by someone stronger than your own attention span. Someone whose care does not require your participation to continue. You can sleep. You can actually, genuinely, fully sleep. Not as a spiritual failure, not as an abandonment of the things you are praying about, but as an act of trust, as the quiet and physical enactment of what you are saying when you say, I believe that he holds what I cannot. Let your body say that now. Let it speak the trust that maybe your words are too tired to form. The voice is still here. It has not stopped because you are almost asleep. It is not dimmed because your attention is softening. It does not need your consciousness to continue speaking over you. It speaks into your sleep. It speaks in the language of what is being restored while you are not watching. It speaks in the slow return of strength to a tired body, in the quiet that settles over a mind that has released its grip, in the way morning will arrive with at least a little more capacity than you had tonight. Not because you solved anything, but because you were held while you could not hold yourself. This is the faithfulness of God in the dark hours. It does not announce itself. It does not require acknowledgement. It simply continues. You are not drifting away from His presence as you fall towards sleep. You are falling into it. Let yourself go there. The thoughts that are still moving, let them slow. You do not have to catch them or finish them or organize them before you are allowed to rest. They can move through and dissolve into the stillness without you managing them. The worry that keeps circling, let it circle one more time and then let it settle, because there is nothing more it can do tonight. And the one who holds the thing you are worried about is still awake, still present, still at work in the parts of your life that are outside your view. You are not responsible for what happens in the hours you cannot see. You are only responsible for this, for being here, for opening the door, for letting the voice come in, for releasing what you cannot carry into hands strong enough to hold it. You have done that tonight. You are doing it right now. God is speaking to you in this stillness, not because you earned the audience, not because you arrived in perfect condition, not because the day was clean, or the faith was flawless, or the heart was exactly where it should have been, but because this is what He does. He speaks to the ones who are tired. He draws near to the ones who have nothing left to offer but their exhaustion. He comes to the caves and the wilderness places and the dark rooms where people lie down feeling like it is too much. And He asks softly, "What are you doing here?" Not to condemn, to accompany, not to evaluate, to be present. And His presence is enough. It has always been enough. Even when you could not feel it, even when the circumstances did not change, even when the whisper was so quiet, you wondered if you had imagined it. Even then, it was enough. Because what the voice of God carries is not just information, it carries weight, real weight, the kind that transfers to you as you receive it, so that the thing you were carrying begins to feel lighter, and the night begins to feel safer, and the future begins to feel held, even though nothing external has shifted. Only the interior. Only the place inside you where trust lives. That place is a little steadier tonight, a little more anchored, a little more certain that the dark is not empty, that the silence is not absence, that the stillness is not a void you are alone in. It is full, full of a presence that was speaking before you arrived here, that will still be speaking when you wake, that surrounds the whole of this night without interruption and without condition. You are inside that, right now. You are inside the speaking of God. Let the last of the day go now. Let the last held breath release. Let the last held thought dissolve. Let the last fragment of effort that was still working somewhere in your body simply stop. You are safe here, not theoretically, not only when things are going well, not only when you have your faith organized properly, safe tonight, in this dark, with this tired body, with this complicated heart, with all the unresolved things sitting quietly at the edges, safe because he is here, safe because the voice has not stopped, safe because you are known and loved and spoken over by the one who made the night and set it in its place and called even the darkness good in its season. This is your night, and it is held, and so are you, held, spoken over, accompanied into the rest that restores. You do not have to do anything more tonight. You have arrived. You are here. You are heard. Let yourself go, all the way, into the arms of the one whose voice led you here. He is still speaking, even now. Even as your eyes grow heavy and the room grows soft and the thoughts dissolve into quiet, he is still speaking, and you are still loved. And this night is still safe. Sleep now. He is near. He has always been near, and he will be here when morning